So this is a very informal session. It's not me just talking, it's also involvement from you guys as well. So just by way of background is I own a consulting company. When I'm not here at the bank, I normally love consulting. And I love specializing in emotional and perception mastery. Why that field? Because my life got turned around within a day because of some emotional baggage that I was holding on to for the longest of time. So briefly is the story that I ran was that my mom gave birth to me when she was 17. My dad was never around, so the story I always ran was if my father was around. So that's the perception that I held on to. So whatever bad happened, my mind would automatically drift to, why did he do this to my mom? Only to discover that after attending something which is called the Breakthrough Experience, which is run by a personal mentor of mine, his name is Dr. John DiMartini, which is a 2-day program. Came the Sunday, I no longer ran that story. I didn't have emotional baggage towards my father. And I thought to myself, wow, if this can do this for me, I wonder what it can also do for other people. So I got the opportunity to get certified within that field. And the last 2 years, I've just been learning and applying the methods there. So I decided, you know what, why not do 1 year at the bank? But we're not going to get into that specific method. This method that we're going to be touching on today is I'd say one of the greatest tools that I continue to use with my clients and with myself in terms of just figuring out where life is. So what I'm going to be discussing today is we are going to be determining what your highest values are. What are highest values and highest priorities? So if you think of your life as a ladder, let's just say this is you. You have what is most important to you and what is most valuable to you. We'll call that highest priorities, or we'll call them highest values. Some people know what their highest values are, and some people know what their highest priorities are. If you look at the most successful people, one example is Warren Buffett. If you ask Warren Buffett what are his 3 highest values, you'll probably come up with finance, vocation, and mentor. So he runs his life according to that. But what happens, does anyone have children here, or one child? None of us have children. Oh, we've got 2 children, Mother's Day, not 2 children. But what happens with a child when you ask a child to do something that they don't want to do? They start to do what? To throw tantrums. They start to say, no, I do not want to do this. Because in their priorities or values, what you're asking them to do is probably a lower priority or a lower value. But if you know how to communicate with them in terms of their highest priorities and their highest values, your chances of you being able to influence them are much higher. This goes back to ancient Greece, which philosophers studied, which they call the telos, or they call it the study of being. This touches upon where you have the highest order, the highest information, and where your natural genius comes out. The lower down you go, the more your language starts to change. This is your should, must, need to, and all the have tos. That is something that is outside your values. That is someone else's voice. Because what happens in life is everything around you is trying to project their values upon you and trying to tell you what's right and what's wrong. And this is who you should be and this is who you must be. Anytime someone tells you that, you must know that you're living and injected values. So through the exercise that we're going to do today is we're going to determine what your highest values are and what naturally drives you. Because once you know that and you start to prioritize your life according to your highest values and your highest priorities, you stand a better chance of achieving success. I can say that with certainty because every 3 months I go through this and then I structure my life according to that. And everything that's lower, either I try to delegate through it or you get married to someone who has it high enough in their values. So this is your values, and you're going to meet someone else who has their values. And you're going to meet somebody else who has their values. So for example, you can meet someone who holds family to be high. And for you, family is all the way down here because all you want to do is to socialize. And someone else who might be an entrepreneur, they hold finance to be their highest values. But what happens when you meet these people is they are going to project onto you what their highest values are. And if you learn how to communicate with people in their highest values, they will open up to you. The moment they see that what you're speaking about does not communicate and resonate with their highest values, they will close up. Every business organization tries to do this, and that's how they get their money. So for the exercise, we are going to determine your values. Is everyone ready? It's a very interactive session. Anything you don't understand, please put up your hand and ask. And I sometimes have a flow of talking too fast from time to time. Right? Does anyone have any questions so far? No. And does everyone have a pen? If you do not have a pen, ask for a pen somewhere. Yeah. Things happen for a reason. Shamil?
Whiteboard markers, yeah. He
Might as well.
is.
What a true gentleman there.
I was going to take pictures.
Right, so the first question that's on there, I did not come up with these questions, but again, you'll see if you want more information on explanation or anything, you can go to that website. It's a free download. It will go more in depth in terms of how values work because of our time. So we only have about 50 minutes. Within the 50 minutes, I'm going to try and do my best just to unlock something within you. So the first question that we have there is, how do you fill your space? What I want you to do is to think about your whole life, from your working desk to your car, to your purse, to your room, and just come up with the top three items that fill up your space. Physical items, 100%. So if you had to follow me around, you would see that in my personal space, you find that there's books in there, and there's study material in there, and there's business material in there. Those are the three things that fill up my space. That is from work, from car, everywhere. And there's also audio material that I listen to every single morning. So those are the items that mostly fill my space. Do I need to repeat it?
So you said like what fills your space is like books and stuff.
Yes.
So will book be one thing? Can I just say
Yes.
books will be like one box and then audio will be one box?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it
So-
can be like a car. Like, I
Sorry,
don't know
don't
what
Can be a car if it
What
fills
about
up your
social
space.
media?
Like,
Social media.
Social phones.
like
when I'm
social
talking about
platforms.
your items, the items
Oh,
that
the
mostly
items,
fill
so
up
I'll
your
say
space.
phone,
So for
rather.
example, your
like
phone,
tangible items.
Oh.
Yes.
100%. So your phone fills up your space.
Yeah.
So the top three things. Yeah. Because anything you think is valuable will automatically fill up your space.
Yeah.
And anything that you don't feel is of any purpose to you, you'll get rid of. You don't want it in your space, so you're not going to put order into it. So the top three items that fill up your space. Can it be a person? Is that person with you all the time, or majority of the time?
Tangible.
Okay, so there's a specific person there. Yes, it can be a person as well. A physical item can be a person, yes. Yes. Got three. So you'll see on the sheet there's 3 different blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the different types of items on the sheet. Yeah, you're doing it right. You got your 3. Okay.
Yes. Can I bullet point one of them?
Bullet point which one?
Technology, there is a phone and stuff like that.
Okay, and then what do you have on your second block? Okay, and then what do you have on your third block?
Food.
Food. All right. So food is something that she keeps around. So if I go to your desk now, I'll find some food item there.
Literally apple, bananas.
All right.
But can I separate between cell phone and laptop? One
No.
or-
You'll
That's
have
like
cell phone and then you'll have laptop.
Oh, I put it in
Yeah.
But if
that's
it's
what-
either around
sometimes
one
it's
another.
either or. Like I'll have this or my tablet.
So you'll have one of them.
Yes. So that's why I put them in one bag.
You'll have your cell phone and then you have your laptop. Do you do the same things that you do on your cell phone that you do on your laptop?
Mostly.
For him,
Kind of.
not for you. Because remember,
Like 60-40.
remember what I said about values is that we all see the world differently. But the purpose of me here is that I want you to get to a point where you identify how you see the world. It's not how someone else views you. The purpose when you walk out of it is just for you to see how you see the world. So what are the two other items? So you have laptop and a cell phone, and what's the third one?
Also, I have cell phone in car.
Okay.
But as for laptop, I just wanted to know if, since it's tech, can I put it, like in the same space as cell phone?
What outside your cell phone and your laptop takes up your space? Do you fill your space up with? Outside of those two items.
I'm trying to, if it's not work, but work is not tangible, so
Mhm.
I'm just here.
The people at work.
It's the chives.
Is it beers? Is it champagne? What is it?
It's wine.
What's the third one?
Yeah.
Wine. What's the third one?
I don't know. Television.
What?
So
TV.
put those
I
two
thought of
things separately.
TV, it falls under.
Here's what I'm going to ask you is your cell phone more for socializing, your laptop more for work?
Mm-hmm.
Two different categories.
Okay.
So you put cell phone, laptop, and the third one.
Cool stuff.
Then
Thank you.
the second one is how do you spend your time? Is where do you invest most of your time? Work is one. Work, and then what are the two other areas where you spend most of your time?
So what you see is over there. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Well, that makes
So
sense.
exciting. Yeah, I
Is it-
know. I leave it to the imagination.
Is it like a physical place where you spend your time, or it can be?
How it says, right?
like how do you spend your time? Where does most of your time go? So if you look at my life is from 8 o'clock until 4:30, I'm at work.
Yeah.
So that's how I spend my time. So one of them is work. When I'm outside of work is I'm doing research or I'm consulting. Third one is I'm then spending time with my wife. So those are the three highest things that take up my time.
Like a literal physical place.
Literal physical place.
Can we
Yes.
have a number 4? We make
No,
number
you can't have a number 4. I want the top 3. If you had to choose between the two, which one takes higher?
Yeah, it's something else that like I'd like it to be family, but it's not.
Then there's not. Remember,
Yeah.
you
Social media.
is that where you
because
spend most of the
that's why
time?
like I was asking,
Mm.
does it need to be like a physical place?
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
But
something.
what in social media are you doing? Or what on your cell phone are you actually doing?
Wasting time.
Yeah.
Wasting time. Here's the thing is, you think it's wasting time.
It's not.
But according to your highest values, it's not wasting time.
Mm.
It's just that you have a misperception of what wasting time is.
Mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
For Bill Gates to be standing here, it's a waste of his time. Am I
Mm.
correct?
Mm.
But for me, it's not a waste of my time.
True.
So, what are you actually doing on social media when you're spending your time? What are you doing? What's the specific action that you're doing there?
Absolutely.
I'm mostly like reading
Reading what?
articles, news articles.
Yeah, that sounds like a
So
production.
there you go.
Yeah.
So reading news articles.
Yeah. Because like I know like what normally happens is with social media, if you follow specific pages, they update like regularly.
Based
So
on your profile.
yeah.
Who you are, your
yeah,
profile.
so I'm like literally always there.
What if you're watching TV, but it's actually with family, so it's actually family time because you want to spend time with them, but you also want to like do something.
You can be in the same room as someone and literally your mind is not with that person.
Oh, but what if you're this with them, like you're interacting?
Are you?
Like that's the point
Okay.
of watching TV.
But you spending the time, are you spending the time physically spending the time with the person, or are you spending the time watching television?
So like you're watching stuff and you're discussing it.
But what takes more of your time, watching or discussing things with the family?
Watching it, yes.
There
But
you
that's
go.
not the point. Like you started watching more stuff, but the point was to all just sit together and by siblings with this. So us sitting together, that was the point. Like we could be watching stuff on our own.
But you're sitting together. So what's
Yeah.
taking priority? Spending time with the family or watching what you're watching?
Oh? Can it not be both?
But what's taking more priority out of the two?
I don't know. Like we could.
Why don't you make those two separate things?
Okay.
Because
Like,
there are two
I'm
separate
already
things.
taking 2
There's
So-
only one day.
So you put both of them there.
No, I put
You
something
put
else. I put work.
watching TV and you put family there.
I put work and social media.
Okay? And then you're stuck between the
So
two.
I wanted to put like family,
Okay.
because like I feel like the rest of time my time is that, but then we're doing other stuff, not like just interacting.
So here's what I'm gonna ask you is, are you watching a different program that they are watching?
At that time.
Yes.
No, no.
So you guys are watching the same program.
Yeah.
So what specifically are you watching on TV? What's the program that you're watching there?
Do I know the name?
Or whatever it is,
Yeah.
what are you watching there?
Hunter.
So at that moment is when you come to work the next day, do you talk more about Hunter or you talk more about the conversation that you had with the family? Exactly. So you see that for you, priority is that TV, and then your family is what comes. Okay, you're here, whatever. But your priority is that TV.
That's, yeah.
Because what you actually want to use the time for, saying you're doing that, but actually,
I'm not. That makes a lot of sense.
How do you spend
You could be
your
spending time talking rather, like, you know, if you live with people, you just think, you live with them, but you don't know them that well, and your time, but you like each other siblings, I just know them. I mean, I grew up
Because
with them.
it's not important to you. Are we okay there at the back? So has everyone answered that?
Yes.
Right. So the third one is, how do you spend your energy? Where does your energy go to most of the time? And you'll see that it's directly correlated to where you spend your time.
Yes. Because my first one is literally driving.
how do you spend your energy?
I see we got a bright spot there at the back. She answered like already by 3. Yes?
I'm already done.
I'm
I'm waiting for these people. I'm joking.
You know yourself well. It's a good thing.
Because here's what happens, especially when values change, is you tend to create what is called a, you know, they call it what? That age thing. When you're stressed out, or your mid-age crisis, is that what they call it? Midlife crisis. That just simply means that your values are changing and you're realizing that no, this is not me and I'm definitely somebody else. Should wait for him to answer. So the third one there is, how do you spend your energy? And you'll find that that's directly correlated to number 2, where most of your time actually goes to. And she gave us a very clear example of she's with the family, but where's her energy? Where's her energy focused?
You know that until now.
See, her energy is focused on what's in front of her, in front of the TV, although she is with family.
Yes.
So this, for your energy, is like my attention.
Yeah. Yes. So that's where your attention is. Like you're spending your energy on this.
What if you're at work, right? For
Mhm.
8 hours, but if your attention isn't 100%, that does it still mean that your energy is spent there mostly?
Your energy is probably fluctuating into something else.
Okay, but like I can be at work, but I'm just thinking about like home or something. What does that mean?
That means your attention is somewhere else. That's what
So
it
my
means.
energy is focused on home then?
Yeah, at that time.
Can that be like, so I categorize that as thinking? Because then I'm.
Yeah, because that's what
You see, but the thing is, it has to be very specific because thinking is very broad.
What are you thinking
I can
about?
tell you that I'm thinking right now,
Mm.
but what specifically am I thinking about? You don't know. So where is your energy? Where do you spend most of your energy? Where does most of your energy go to? Yes?
I would think that energy speaks to some sort of physical sense or reaction that you have to do something,
Okay.
not just about thinking.
Or like,
Am I?
What are the three that you have for where your energy, where your most energy goes towards? What are the top? What are the top three?
Well, it's work.
And then what's the
first.
second one?
It's home and family,
Okay, and
and then the third one is social and outings.
you see, she's very specific.
Mm.
That's how
What did
specific
you
it
say?
must be. Social and outing.
Yeah.
Janet. So that's Janet. This is Diageo. Diageo, that's Janet.
Hello. So are you speaking of energy in a sense whereby like it's an energy of,
No,
or is
I'm
it
talking
the
about
physical
where you spend your energy.
endurance?
100%.
Yeah.
So for me, it goes back. It goes to work, outside of work.
Oh,
When I'm
okay.
not at work, my energy goes towards doing
So it's the
research
physical.
on
Yes.
human behavior. The third
Yes.
one is, okay, spending time with the wife. That's where
Yeah.
my energy is going to. It's
Okay.
directly correlated to question 2.
Yeah.
We're going to get more to the thinking as we go down. And then, is everybody answered number 3?
Yes.
2 ladies at the back, are we fine?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Then, number 4 is, how do you spend your money? The top 3 things where your money goes towards, where you always find the money for these top 3 things. You can find money not to pay the rent,
That's
but if shoes are important towards you, you'll find money to buy new shoes.
Does not David order?
I'm talking about
Orders, that's where all the money
Yeah,
goes.
So what are the top 3 items where your money goes towards? Is it okay? Majority of it goes towards paying your bond.
Yes.
Does the next one go towards paying your car?
Yes.
So what are the
and
top 3
groceries.
items where you
Yeah.
spend most of your money? Not what you would like to buy, would you
But-
like to take that vacation, but where does the money go towards right now? The top 3 things.
Literally David. David's question.
The top 3 things.
Fees.
One. Yeah, courses and classes is studies. It's one thing. And then what's the next item that your money goes towards?
Groceries, school fees.
Okay, so here's a very interesting question. She praised self-development as very high. So within self-development, there's different types of categories, am I correct?
Mm.
You can have self-development in terms of attending seminars. You can pay 50,000 Rand to go and attend seminars. And self-development could be, no, I'm buying books. I'm buying 1,001 books every single month. That's where it's going. But it has to be very item specific. Like if you own a house, does most of your money go towards buying furniture, or does it go towards buying groceries because eating is more important than anything else? Does that, the majority of your money go there? What are the top 3 items where your money goes towards?
I feel like I don't think about these things, and I already want it to be different from what my answers are right now.
Just what happens is, you need to get to the reality of your
Opening
life.
up to,
Mm.
but I'm procrastinating. Like I know
Here's the
these
thing,
things.
is
I procrastinate change.
you don't need to change. I'm not here to change you. I'm here to unveil the fact that your life is already magnificent the way that it is.
Is it?
Yes, and we're gonna get to that. Yeah, we're gonna get to that at the end.
Yeah, I don't like using the definition. Is
Yeah.
like what was that? Like is that category it?
Okay, so
What we use the money for.
yes, what is it specifically? What's this debt that you're paying towards? What is it? For me, it can be a house. For him, it could be a car. Maybe for me, a debt is a loan shark that I needed to borrow money to go out on a date with. You understand? So what is it specifically?
Eh?
I'm just all over the place.
So what are these top 3 items that go towards? If you could answer them, what are they?
Okay, so for me, I've got investment in cryptos,
Mm-hmm.
insurances and household expenses and bond and rent.
Bond and rent. That's where the majority of your money goes. Is everyone answered that one?
Yes.
So let's move on. So The first one is, where are you most organized? Now, please listen to me. Listen to me right now. Is where are you most organized when no one has to remind you to organize those things? If I just came to you once and I said, you know what, Mimi, please organize this for me, I can walk away, come back, and rely on you to be organized in that. What are the top 3 things where you're most organized where no one has to remind you to organize those things? For example, no one has to organize the material that I put together. I'm constantly putting it together. No one comes and reminds me that, you know what, Osvaldo, you need to read at least 3 books in a month. I'm most organized in my books. I know where my books are. I know what is in my business bag. I know that, okay, this is the material that is there. That's where I'm most organized. But ask me to prepare a meal, I will not know where the potatoes are. I won't know where the eggs are, what goes with what ingredients go with what. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I can't think of an example.
Question?
No, for me, I feel like this is
Can be like that.
little related to the one that we just wrote about. How do you spend your money? That's like literally where I'm more focused and more
So for
organized.
you, that's where you're
Making
most
sure that I
Are you most
see these
organized?
things.
That's where you're most organized.
That's
But
me.
you find someone else is most organized, the fact that they know, okay, Saturday I got a date with 5 girls. He's most organized there.
Yeah.
Because he values that.
Oh, okay.
So the top 3 things where you're most organized, no one has to remind you to be organized in that. You need some help.
I don't know.
Planning for a holiday. See, you got someone who's so that's organized. So she knows where she's going. She knows where she's going on the next vacation. That's where she's most organized.
Coming to work. It's coming to work organized.
If you're time, yeah.
No one has to remind
Might
you
need to come to work, yeah.
That's where you're most
I think you're
organized.
reminded by
Yes.
Higher than
Sarah.
anything else.
No.
You can write down what?
I'm reminded by my salary. I'm sorry. I'm not. If I didn't have to, then I wouldn't. So I can't say I'm most
So,
organized.
Listen to what her
At
language
work.
is. Remember I spoke about values. Is that the lower down you go, what seems to be the language? Have to's,
Yes.
must, and what did I say? I say, where are you most organized when no one has
Has
to
to.
remind you?
Yes.
No one must remind you. You're just organized. I can just tell you once and I can count on you to be organized in that area. The top 3 areas where you're
Okay.
most organized, where you don't find this language of must, shoulds, and have to's.
Okay.
This is hard.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Yeah.
Like, can I, is bedroom like one thing? Or because the whole thing is, but
Yes.
you covered it actually.
Because there's something specifically that you're organized in your bedroom.
But like, so my books are in there. But
So
like,
you write down books. You're most organized in your books.
But that is in my bedroom.
It is in your bedroom, but there's a specific item in your bedroom that is most organized. Are your clothes organized? What else on top of that is organized? Your books. What else is organized in your life?
I feel like it will take up for
The top 3. That's why we're asking for the top 3. And that's why there's only 3 blocks. Kids are very good at this. They understand 3 blocks, 3 answers.
How I was growing up.
Yeah.
Now you want to add extra blocks?
And yeah,
Instead of a straight answer.
the 6th one, again, is where you're most reliable. Where no one has to remind you to be reliable to do these things. If you're a mother, I can rely on you to do what? To take care of kids. But some mothers are not there for their kids, so
Yeah.
the kids are not really important. So where are you most reliable? Where no one has to remind you or tell you you should be reliable in this. You know what? You're unreliable when it comes to this. Where no one has to remind you. What are the top 3 things where you're most reliable in? You can rely on me to do a talk.
You can rely on me to show up.
Yeah,
Show
what
up to
if
what?
what if you're reliable on time? Like if I have a meeting with you, I will be there on time. That type of thing.
Okay. Would you be on time if let's say I told you that let's meet up at a strip club? Can I rely on you to be there?
Well, it would depend if I'm interested.
If you have a beat outside.
If we want to meet outside. So I don't want it will depend on.
Okay.
Because the moment it will depend on, you're coming down here, you're looking for reward. And the moment you start looking for reward, you're getting outside of who you really are. Because someone who's driven by mission doesn't care how much reward they get. The reward is the mission, to live according to that mission. Do I have to pay you to take care of Azania?
No.
Does Azania give you pain?
Like physical.
Whatever pain, does she give you stress? Does she give you stress?
Yes, yes.
But can I rely on
Physical
you
as
to
well,
take
'cause
care
she
of her?
bites.
And to some other woman would be like, you know what, I don't have a kid because of those things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Leave her for her. Do you for you. Has everyone answered that column? Not yet. Okay.
Work.
Where are you most reliable? You find that at times you're starting to form a pattern where you have similarities with
Yes.
the previous questions, where similarities are starting to show up.
It's on the same question asked in a different way.
Because these questions touch on all areas
I'm
of
reliable with my boyfriend.
from finance, to spiritual, to social, to all of those areas.
Yeah.
But we're trying to find where you have that hidden genius, where you just naturally are inclined to go towards it.
Sure.
Do we have that one?
Yeah. And
What are we still waiting for? Okay, where are you struggling? Do you have the first answer? Okay.
I have one. I'm struggling with the next two.
Okay. So, what part are you struggling with? Wait.
So, like, where are you most reliable? So I have one,
Mhm.
but the other two blocks.
Okay, so what can people rely on you to do?
Taking care of the household.
Taking care of the household. Okay.
I have that, but
Okay.
can't
And then
do
what's the second area where people can rely on you? When they don't have to remind you, they tell you once, or you say I'm gonna do it, and you do it once. He's most reliable in taking photography. I can rely on him to take photos. I don't have to remind him, like, oh, are you, do you have your camera? Are you ready to take photos? See, I don't have to remind him. He's most reliable there. And this is
Think
the
of
key
things
to
that
most
you're good at.
successful businesses. Is
Is you're good at.
where
Maybe
are you
something
most
you really
reliable?
your work
Okay.
And let's look at the different areas. At work, is there something specific that you're reliable in? What is it specifically?
because that was like the next thing I'm writing.
And then what's the third one? Let's look around. Look around your whole life. Is everyone having fun yet?
Yes. So stressful.
Stressful.
So
Yeah.
challenging.
Understanding yourself is the most stressful thing you'll ever do. Once you understand yourself, it'll be the most rewarding thing ever. Are we still waiting for someone?
Cool.
So, 7 is what dominates your thoughts. Please listen carefully. When I say what dominates your thoughts, I'm not talking about the negative things. I'm not talking about, you know what, my tire just got punched this morning. I'm not talking about the negative things. And I'm not talking about the things that are in your head where the people are telling you must, you should, you have to. And these things that you constantly think about, there has to be little fruits that is coming to fruition. There has to be some sort of evidence that it's coming true. Does that make sense?
Repeat that.
More like
Things that
thoughts of things that you want, like the good stuff, but daydreaming or something. Is
Right.
it like that?
Right. So it's your thoughts, the things that you constantly think about. Not the shoulds, the musts, the have tos, and not the negatives, and the things that are starting to show little evidence of it actually coming true. So for example, what dominates my thoughts is, how can I become a better public speaker? For the last 2 months, I've given over 8 speeches. There's little evidence of that. Does it make sense? For someone could be, how do I become a better mother? Or how do I become a mother? So what needs to happen? She needs to start having a lot of what? A lot of what? Starts with the S. Exactly. Am I having regular sex?
Yeah.
So there's little evidence of that. Does it make sense? And not sex with the cover.
Yes.
Without the cover.
Does it make sense? Are we confused still, Janet?
No, I get you.
So the top 3 things, the things that dominate your thoughts.
Oh, okay.
100%. Because the moment I have a thought and I